myself and stay there, or I can get myself up and just, even if...
Okay, so this phone doesn't really work that well, but I'm gonna make this video about the Cash for Kids system and this person who was adopted from Ethiopia and then placed into foster care. So stuff like this, or at least similar to this, happens a lot, where like people are adopted by rich people from Europe or the US, from these different countries, and then they end up being trafficked or they end up being turned out, and then they have their sons wearing dresses and all that, which is why some of these countries want to put something in place and wait a minute, want to put something in place where like this can't happen, and they also warn these orphanages and stuff from even giving their kids to rich people or famous people who either make music or work in Hollywood, their kids for adoption. And of course, there's like those situations where the orphanages are selling people's kids and letting them be adopted by these people, even though the kid has parents, but the parents give their kids to the orphanages because they claim that they're going to help their kid have an education and a good future. And so the parents want their kids to be able to have a good life. But the only option is this. And it's definitely not a good option. It shouldn't be like that. But of course, the people running these systems are the same people responsible for these countries that they call third world countries even being in the predicaments that they're in. Which there's a lot I can say about that. So hopefully this will work. At least for 2 seconds. Hold up. Is this even... Okay, I'm gonna have to edit some stuff out. So that means this is gonna have to be as short as possible.
Either I can feel sorry for myself and stay there, or I can get myself up and just, even if it means from one place to another, like, I just kept going. My mom is a single mom. There's 6 of us in total. She didn't really have enough resources to take care of us. When she saw this opportunity, hey, your kids can go to America and they can have a better future. Originally, I was not supposed to be adopted.
Also, that's something that's commonly pushed to people because, of course, there's been this American dream idea that you have to be asleep to believe in. Of course, it's definitely pushed on people from other places so they still believe that America's doing a lot better than it actually is. Because, as you may know, with the... well, I guess I might as well say with our current Great Depression, which would be like the third one, they're doing away with the middle class, and America's pretty much been becoming a third world country. I think they kind of like set themselves up by even making the ghettos for the racial segregation reasons, and now it's like they were already there and looked pretty bad, and now it's like, what was the one I was trying to make? Basically, that's what it just about everywhere is looking like. That's not the point I was supposed to be making, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
Supposed to be my little brother who was in the orphanage, but when the adoptive parents came to Ethiopia, they said, we want somebody older with them so she or he can show him the way. And so I was the one available.
And then the thing is, somebody that's older has already lived where they've been living and been in the culture they've been in for multiple years, so it's going to be worse for them to come to a place, especially where people have completely different values and moral values, or their morals are just completely gone. I should say that instead. But anywho, so it was honestly a pretty bad idea.
With my mom at the time, and then that's when they took both of us and they brought us to America. And then around 2010, that's when we moved to Arizona. A year after, when I was around 11 or 12, I just started experiencing like depression, and it was like mainly culture.
Which, like I always say, mental illness comes from trauma and generational trauma. But of course, they want to cover this up. They being the mental health system, psychiatrists, and just all the people that work in there. Because, I mean, for one, the whole system was created as a eugenics money scheme and to make sure people don't get treated because, for one, they're not. Psychiatry doesn't revolve around treating anybody, just making money off of everybody. And then it's like if you're under 18 and you're still in the situation that messed you up, their job is to do what the cash for kids system always does, which is work with the perpetrators and gaslight you into thinking that you're bad and crazy, which eventually drives you crazy. And of course, they're not going to treat you. For one, you couldn't even heal in a situation that messed you up anyway. And so then when you're 18 plus, what they do is they install a victim complex into you to make you think that you were born that way and you have to always be that way. So it's like when you're young and you're in a situation that's messing you up, then they just try to make it seem like none of the stuff that's causing your issues is what's causing your issues. And then when you're older, they just give you a victim complex. So it revolves around everything but treating people. And then there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with that I can't even say where I am right now. So, like, I guess I could put in the description if I remember.
Shock. No familiar face, no familiar language, nothing. My adoptive parents at the time, I felt like they didn't really understand me, so...
And that's something that happens a lot. People in the cash for kids system sometimes never come to the reality that I did. And I don't even think I was really that deep into the cash for kids system. I wasn't as deep as some other people have went, where they've been locked up over and over again and gotten all types of charges for things they didn't do, or where they spent their whole childhood in an adult prison and stuff. But it seems like even the people with the worst end of the stick seem to never really come to the full realization of what the cash for kids system is. And the fact that it's not even really giving people the benefit of a doubt. It's really just cognitive dissonance, or people act like some people just don't understand and their abusers just didn't understand and the mental health professionals just didn't understand and that they believe the perpetrators. It's not that they believe the perpetrators, it's just that this is what they get paid to do. They get paid to abuse people, and that's what I realized in my situation, with help of a lot of people who came to me about how obvious the situation was. And then I realized that in abuse situations, everybody around knows what's going on. It's just that there's the people that get paid to abuse, which are the cash for kids system stuff, which would be enablers or flying monkeys. And then there's the people who are too scared to do anything and they're quote unquote minding their business. Then there's the people. What are the other people? Okay, wait a minute. There's supposed to be like a third group. The enablers, the people who are minding their business. And then there's supposed to be something else. Oh, yeah, the people, well, they're kind of enablers too, but the people who say that you're a Debbie Downer and that you should just focus on the positive stuff. Because most people are living in La La Land anyway, just to be able to go to sleep at night and don't want to admit that any of the stuff that's actually going on is going on. And then when people who went through it come out about it, or even just people who know about these systems come out about it, they get called a schizophrenic conspiracy theorists.
They put me at a hospital saying I was having a mental disorder. They were saying that I was schizophrenic.
Always a
The doctors, of course, they
schizophrenia.
took
It
their
never fails.
words and then they diagnosed me with so many different medications, just Geodon, lithium, lamictogene.
I remember lamotrigine. That was, I mean, it gave me serotonin syndrome so bad that I was even able to go to sleep through the sleep deprivation abuse, so I guess that part was good.
All mental disorder medication, like psychotic medications. I don't want somebody to be giving me medications. I just wanted someone to come stop and say, hey, what's going on? Like, what exactly?
Which they're not medications anyway, they're neurotoxins that give you hundreds of mental, physical, and neurological problems that eventually lead to your death. But that's another story.
Is happening. I just wanted somebody to talk to. That's it. I just wanted a support system. And then from there on, it just hospital stay 2 weeks. When they're like, oh no, you're gonna come home, then no, it's another month at a hospital. Eventually they just put me in group home.
And that's what happens A lot of these mental facilities don't even want to make reports to CPS, so it's like when people are just thrown in there because their abusers don't want them anymore, what happens is they just sit in there for months, and then the mental facilities keep getting Medicaid money off of them, which is actually fraud. And that's actually what eventually gets some people out when Medicaid says, I'm not going to pay for this. Well, not I'm not. We're not going to pay for this anymore. And then the kid finally gets out. And the thing is, depending on what state you live in and how poor a lot of people are, it's like that's the more the medical insurance will pay for. And so that means that you could be in places longer and longer. So, like in NC, medical insurance could keep you locked up for like years on end, and you won't even know if you're ever going to get out of these places or if you're just going to die or go crazy in there. But in GA, the medical insurance doesn't pay for that much, so the most you can be locked up in a place is like 30 days.
30 days went to 2 months, 2 months went to... Eventually, they gave up their parental rights. From there on, it was one place to another. The weird thing is, as soon as I got to the group homes, I was not doing the things they said I was doing.
I'm glad that they at least took her off the meds, though, because honestly, that's really rare to hear from any part of the Cash for Kids system.
Faith was like one of the things that was already rooted in me, and that's what kept me going, basically. I was writing Dear God letters, because there was nobody to send it, so I would just write. I have so many journals.
And then that's another thing. The people who adopted her probably hated the fact that she even believed in God. And the thing is, if she would have still been in the house with the abusers while writing these letters, or if they would have found them if she was in there writing them, these could have been taken to a psychiatrist, and then they would have labeled it off as schizophrenic, religious, what do they call it? Religious delusion, something like that. It's something stupid.
And I was keeping, Dear God. And the things that I would be telling my mom, I would tell God. God is on my side. It's always me and God. That's what got me through it. By the time I aged out, I was in this placement called North Star. It's for youths who are 16 and
sounds
older.
like Eastern Star.
It's like an apartment.
But it just made me think of the other things and systems that kids get dragged into. Although something like that is a group that usually your parents will put you in, though.
Style. It was to prepare you for the real world, like cooking for yourself, shopping for yourself. And then I was like, okay, as soon as I turn 18, I'm leaving. So I was like, I just made up my mind to get a job, to graduate, and then go to college. If I wasn't good at saving money and budgeting, there's no way that I would have been okay. To the foster youths out there,
Wait, 3-year-old son. I wonder.
You can do whatever you put your mind to. Like, you can be anything you want to. You can prove all these people who doubt you wrong. You can just...
And just imagine all the things that happen that she's not talking about.
I don't know. You can do anything you want. And you can become anything you want.